it's feeling better. Yesterday was a little tough, but I think we were able to go through meetings, and the attitude definitely was uplifting, and I think we're in a good spot right now.
What's your head?
I just got my bell rung a little bit. Went after the guy. I was kind of more mad that I threw the interception than anything. But it's a learning process, and I should have took off and ran instead of throwing them.
Did you go drills today?
No, I didn't. My dad. The first thing after after he asked I was okay, he's like, you got to keep your head up when you're tackling. So.
Did you go through any concussion things?
Yeah, it's just the typical protocol. But I've passed everything, and my symptoms are good.
How disappointed are you right now and the team right now with 2 losses in 3 games?
I think the emotion yesterday was a little down, but I think after the meetings, especially with Coach Helfrich, guys felt better. I think the attitude was a lot better today. I think we came out, practice was hard. We could execute a little better with some things, but I think the attitude is uplifting, and I think we're going to continue to feel better as the week goes on.
On a personal note, Mark, are you happy with the year you've had, how you've progressed as a player?
I want to say I'm satisfied. You can always get better, and I'm looking to continue to get better. There's several decisions this past game that I can work on, and that's the beautiful thing about this game. You can always get better, so I'm going to continue to focus on that.
Who do you think got the whole team refocused the best over the last day or so?
I personally think Coach Helfrich did. He brought us all in yesterday, and just said, it's in the past. Now look forward. And he really was just talking about today. He wasn't even talking about Oregon State. He said you just got to come out here and practice hard and make sure that you refocus yourself and find your edge.
How does he deliver that message? Is he fiery in your face, or is he reasonable, chairman of the board? What is he? He's
definitely reasonable, but he can play both sides of the field with that in that regard. But Coach Helfrich was really just I think he could sense a little disappointment, and I think guys respond differently if you're yelling at them and stuff. So I think Coach Helfrich was really just kind of reasonable, and he really just kind of got us in the right mental state of mind.
Do you have any conversations with anybody after in that 24th period, coaches, family, that you felt like sort of put things in perspective for you?
Definitely my family. They actually just got out here. They're going to spend the week with me out here in Thanksgiving. But just to be able to kind of talk to them, and just they said you play in a tough conference, and if you don't bring your A game, if you're not up to play, you can get beat week in and week out. So I think they really kind of just focused it. They said it's in the past, you got to wash it, flush it, and just kind of focus on Oregon State.
Do you anticipate wearing a knee brace again for this game?
We'll see. I'm going to continue just to work with the training staff, and we'll make a decision at the end of the week.
How much is that, just the wearing a brace, has that affected you at all?
I'm not going to make that an excuse. It is what it is. I've learned to play with it, especially through practice.
Do you sense the whole state thing? I know you're not from here, but when this game comes around, is there a little different feel maybe around campus or people you talk to?
I know you're going to hate this answer, but we always try to take it one game at a time. It's to face this opponent. But no, in all honesty, I think just kind of talking to the around the community and stuff. This game does mean a lot. It means a lot to the state, and it's an honor to be able to play in it. And I think just to be able to represent this community the best way that we can is what we're going to try to do.
What do you see from Oregon State's defense heading into this game?
They're good up front, and they're going to bring some pressure. They've been pretty good taking the ball away, and we're going to have to make sure we're focused on that. We were kind of lackadaisical last week. So again, we just got to focus on our keys and make sure that we're ready to execute.
For you personally, is there anything Oregon State is going to try and force you to do?
We'll see. They've kind of played us differently last year than they played everybody else. So we'll have to see when the game rolls around.
Mark said he talked to some leaders individually about kind of bouncing back. Did he look to you for any sort of message for the team or in any direction?
He talked to us. He explained to us what he wanted from us, and I think collectively as a group, we just wanted to go out there and make sure practice was fiery. And I think today from an effort standpoint was really good, and it's been the best since the last couple of weeks. And I think we can always execute a little better, but as long as effort's there, we can always kind of get better.
Do you feel more pressure as a leader in a situation like this?
Not necessarily. I think as a group, as a whole group of leaders, I think we kind of understand that we need to step up and make sure that the locker room is in a good spot.
What do you feel you're playing for at this point?
I think we're just playing for each other. I think we always kind of play for each other. That's been the message from Coach Helfrich, and we've always wanted to just play for the brother on the left and the brother on the right, and wherever that takes us, that's not in our control. So, we just got to focus on making sure we just go out there and play the best that we can.
Have you thought about there being a possibility of this being the last time you play at Autzen Stadium?
Not at all. And I'm being truthfully honest. I'm not sure. I'm gonna take after the bowl season. I'll go home and just kind of talk through this with my family and see what's the best fit for my family.
Marcus, you talked about motivation. Is this a team that needs to be motivated week by week?
That's a good question. I don't think so. I think we always got to find our edge. Coach Helfrich always talks about finding your edge and finding what you play for. And if we can continue to focus on what drives us, I think we'll be prepared to play every week.
Frost said you guys have struggled with execution the past few weeks. This is a program that really has not experienced much of that over the last 4 or 5 years. So what's going on in the Blue Express for you guys to be struggling this mightily?
I'm not too sure. I think it comes down to just finishing everything in practice. We from an effort standpoint, I think practice throughout these weeks have been good, but the execution hasn't been there. And I think that's just finishing blocks or making sure I make the right reads and putting the ball where it needs to be. And I think today we've done better at it, but we can always get better, and hopefully we can get that on track.
Is that bad luck? Is that focus? It's just bizarre that it's happening.
Right. I wouldn't credit to anything. I think it's just over time, maybe it was a little complacency, but I wouldn't say that because we have a lot of good leaders in this group that wouldn't allow that. So honestly, I'm not too sure, but we're focusing on it and we're getting better at it.
Is part of it having to adapt your game plan though? Because you guys obviously had to adapt somewhat in the last 3 weeks. Is trying to do a new game plan that you guys weren't doing for the first 7 games part of it?
Possibly. And I think that's, I know. I think we've always kind of just worked on making sure we're ready for the games, we're prepared. And, we just, like I said, we just got to execute better in practice, and I think we were on the right track today.
Well, just one last question. On that tip pass that you threw to Braylon, did he talk to you after the game, and what was that conversation like?
He said that he was jumping around trying to bat the ball down 3 or 4 times, and it was kind of a weird deal. The guy made an awesome play. I honestly didn't see it. I was kind of in the middle of a scrum, and I saw it afterwards on some of our film studies, and the guy made an awesome play. There's not much you can do about it. He went out and just it was pretty unreal.